shows that what users should not be able to input letters except numbers. That's the first thing. Second thing is that users should not leave the what's the name? Um the bill empty. So what am I saying? Let me show you what I'm trying to say. If you come here now and you refresh, let us select 15%. Now calculate. What is it saying? Enter bill and what? Rate service. That means bill is what? Empty. It should not be empty. That's the first error. Second error is that what? Bill should be a what? A number. Please enter a number. Do you get? Now, that is exactly what we're going to be doing here now. So I'm going to refresh this and I'm going to get started now. To do that, I'm first of all going to what? Remove all of this. I'm going to come back to it and I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to create an if statement. Now, in my if statement, my first what is my first condition? My first condition is to make sure that what? Bill and rate are not empty. Do you understand? Both bill and rate should not be empty. So we're going to have what? If bill, right? How are we going to know if bill is empty? How are we going to determine that bill is empty? Empty strings, good. So if bill, how am I going to write it? Bill I will just write empty string here. So how will I write it? Is that what you are saying? Is it dot dot you are saying or equals equals? Equals equals. Is it 2 or 3? I sure it's 3. I sure it's 2. Now you can use 2, but I'll use 3. Now why am I using 3? Because I want to be very, very strict. It has to check for type also, and not just what? Value. Equals equals equals. Empty string. Right? And now, why am I using? I want to make sure that both bill and rate should not be empty. Now, what am I going to use? And, right? To make sure that both bill and rate are not empty. But on a second thought, some people might not want to tip anybody. Do you get? Some people might not want to tip anybody. So if they don't want to tip anybody, we should give them that flexibility of not tipping anybody. So we cannot say if bill is empty, or just to like streamline something. Let's just use if bill. If bill is equal to an empty string, what do you want? You want an error. You can have alert. Please enter bill amount. Why will you be using console? We always go to the console. You understand? So alert bill is empty. Now that is your first. The reason I was using console.log just for it to teach you basics then and to show you how to debug with console.log. But you will be focusing more on the DOM. That is manipulating HTML. So you do not need to console.log for that. Now, that's the first functionality. That's the first condition. What's the second condition I'm talking about? What's the second condition? That means if whatever user puts in is not a number, right? So I cannot say else if, right? I cannot say bill, but I'm going to wrap bill up in a particular function that says if bill is not a number. So I'm going to use what? Is none. I'm going to use is none, and I'm going to say if bill is what? Is not a number, right? What do you want? What I want is that what? I want you to what? Alert. Please enter a valid number for bill amount. Do you understand it now? Now you know that I said none means what? Not a number. So now there is now a particular method or function to check if something is a number or not. That is what is none is. So is none. That was, if you remember what you checked that day. We used. I think we used it in a quiz. We saw something like it in a quiz that day. So there was none, and it was is none. I think we picked none. There was a mistake. So if you want to check if something is a number or not, use what? Is none. So is not a number. So else, if bill is not a number, what do you want? Please enter a what? A valid bill amount. Now, we cannot have our what? Our else. Now, our else is not going to have our what? Our property. Why? So it's going to first of all check for these first two. If these first two are false, what's not going to happen? The else, which is now our functionality, will now get printed out. Now let us check to see if this works. If I come right here now and I'm going to refresh, I'm going to say 100. Okay, I'm going to write letter and I'm going to calculate. Please enter a valid number for bill amount. Yeah? I used a lot. I'll get there. So use a lot. Now, if I now try to, that was the second one. Let's say I want to leave bill empty. Please enter a valid number for bill amount. Now, it is now, this is not supposed to be. Let me try something. Let me use for rate because empty strings. So let us try it now. Now I'm leaving bill to be empty and let us see. So it is just giving me, I should not use it. Let me remove this. You know, let me use null for this first and let's see. So if bill is null, let us check it out and let's check if this works. No, it's not working. It is broken. Something is broken here. Yeah, broken. Enter a valid number for bill amount. Something is actually broken here. You know what? Let me just leave it alone like this and just use let's say bill equals what? Empty strings. Let's leave it or rate. I think I know the issue now. The issue is that um I'm making it type what's the name? Strict. So it is actually going to listen for a string actually. So if I refresh it now, we should have this didn't work just now. Okay. This will actually work. It worked just now. I don't know why it's not. Okay, let's continue. Come back to it. So we said if bill equals what? You asked me a question before. What was your question? Someone was saying something. But it's in my ear. She was saying something, but you forgot it. You have a question. So let me continue. So I said, if bill equals what? Empty string. Now this is weird because this thing just worked just now. So let us check it out. Calculate. The second one is working. The second one is working and it says what? Enter a valid number for bill amount. So I do not know why. Let me inspect this first. Let me see if I can get also. Let's check. Elements, right? Uh, trying to see if I can access the codes from here to see the mistakes I made. Okay, I think I have it here now. Yeah. So this is supposed to be it. Exactly. So okay. You know what? Let us stop using alert. Let us use something much more real than this. So what am I saying? I'm not going to use alert now. I'm going to use this. So let's go ahead and create an error message. So what is that I'm saying? If you notice in this place, the error message is displaying here and not an alert. So let us go ahead and use the error message and see what we have. So I'm going to come to my HTML, and under my calculate button, I'm going to give it a what? A span tag. A span and with an ID of what? Error, right? And I'm going to say, and I'm going to write it into there. In my style, I'm going to style it. I'm going to give it hash error, and I'm going to give it a color of what? Red, just to signify, what's the name? An error. So let me see if my style is okay, it's not linked. So let me just link my style. So let me link it. Link CSS. Yeah. So let us try it out now. So now you won't see anything here yet, right? You can't see anything here. Now let us now try and link that particular error there. So I'm going to bring the error inside of this place. What is the ID for the error? Error, right? So I can now say const error or MSG message. Yeah, okay, that document or query selector here. Good. Now in this place, instead of using alert, what am I now going to use? I'm going to say what? Error message dot inner text. Good. Bill amount cannot be empty. You understand? So I'm replacing the result with the alert. Similarly, I'm also going to say the same thing. Please enter what a valid number for what bill amount. Now let us check it out. Do you understand I got the error? Do you understand the error? Eh? Okay. Because I was a bit fast. Do you understand? Eh? Instead of the alert, you now be seeing it in your page. That's what I did. So now if I come here now and I try and refresh, okay, I try and calculate. Please enter valid number for what bill amount. Now if you are still having the same error, you shouldn't be having the error. You should not be having that error here. Okay. I have actually seen the error now. Now, so rate equals what? Let me try this first, and let's see if it works. So if I refresh and I calculate, now it is not going to work, right? And the major reason is because, first of all, everything I did in class right now was not even what I prepared. I was like trying to change some things just to make you understand what we did before. Now, the reason why this is not working now is because right here, you've converted this thing already to what? What is it? You've converted it to what? Pass in. Meaning that whatever is going to be coming out from your bill has to be what? An integer or a number. You understand? How then can we change this? We can remove this pass ins here. First things first, we can remove this pass ins from this place, right? We can also remove this what? Pass float from this place, right? And then we can now call it wherever it is that we need to call it. So right here now, we need to call it here, right? I can say Control X and I can say what? Password, pass int, and I can put it inside of this place. So that was what we were doing before, right? I can change this here, exactly. So we can have it here, pass float. Exactly the same thing here. You understand? Now, if you go ahead and you try it out now, try it here, this should work for you. Now, if I click on calculate, bill cannot be empty. See that it works now. So that is exactly why it wasn't working before. It wasn't working because it has automatically seen it as a number. But what exactly am I trying to set it as here? I'm just setting it as an empty string. So it is already strictly a number. So it's not, that error is not going to be showing. This is not even, it's not important. If I wanted to say it, I can, it's not important because it's not they won't write exactly. So, but if you check this out here, and then you try and refresh that, let's press calculate again, let's check it out. So bill cannot be empty. You understand? So that is basically what it's trying to say. Now, a number. Okay, to see if we are on the right path, Abby. Okay. You want to be stingy? I'm joking. It's not a number. Okay. I think I know the reason for this one also. Again, I made a mistake with some of these things. All right. So this is what we're going to do. Instead of using pass int and pass float, right? We're going to do what? Recognize them as a what? As a number. So I'm going to use number instead. So number what? Bill times what? Bill plus what? Plus, is it tip amount? Tip amount, tip amount. I don't think I need to do that one again. Dot to fix. Now, this number brings both integer and what? Float. So it's not going to recognize that what as an integer and a float. Do you understand? So it's not that not a number is no longer going to what? Going to be there. So I'm just going to give it 2. And let us try and check it out again. Now this is how you keep running into errors, and then you keep having issues, and you have to debug and debug. Now you have your answer. And again, I feel like now that means on that. So this tip amount is supposed to be what? Pass float. Pass float, and then tip amount. Eh? Now let us check it out and let's see what we have. So number bill plus what? Pass float. Now this should work. If this doesn't work, then they are after me. It's working. Okay, so you don't want to tip, right? Yeah. Now 3333 calculate. It's still giving us is none. That isn't something that we should. You know what? I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna make it just bill times what? Times rate. Then I'm just gonna change this to what? Bill. I'm gonna change to what? Number, right? They are gonna have what? Bill plus tip amount. No, coming. I'll show you something now. So if I refresh and I just put number, it should work now. Now, as you can see, it's showing tip amount to be what? $0. Now, the reason why we are having that error is you are trying to bring, in the real sense, you're trying to bring 2 data types together. And you want it to automatically declare it to be what? Number. Now, alternatively, if you don't want to do this, you can go ahead and do something like this. Let me just show you what I'm trying to say. Now, look at this place. This is a what? What is this? Eh? A number, right? But what is this here? An integer. So it is not exactly going to give you number. You understand? So if you want to make it a number, all you have to do is what? Specify number instead of passing. So now let us check it out again to see if this way. If this does not work, we'll just revert back. Now we revert back. So let us go back to default settings and let's see if that works. Let me still try and give this a number. I'm still going to try and give this particular food a number, rate a number. Then this pass int also, not give it a number. So let us see if this works. This should actually work. Now this is working. But let us try and add excellence to it now. It's actually working. So instead of using pass in and pass float, just use number. Yeah. So now, instead of making it this, everybody, do you understand? Do you understand what has happened? Do you understand? Do you understand? Okay. So looks like only one person is following. Sorry, before your question, let me make everybody understand. Now, what she was asking is that she wanted to make sure that that's even a good testing tip. Thank you. What if you try to put just number, like just the the bill, but you don't want to tick them? What would the result give to you? What was the result given to us? Not a number. Now, why is it not a number? It is not a number because you are trying to pass technically two different data types. The first is what? Integer. Second is what? Float. So they are not exactly the same data type. So it is going to give you an error of what? Not a number, because in the real sense, it's actually not a number. Do you get it now? So now for us to be able to have a number, instead of using pass int and what? And pass float, all you have to do is what? Give them a number. That's what we did here. So now as you can see, basically what I changed this pass int to what? Number. I changed the pass float to what? Number. Similarly, number and what? Number. Is it clear to everybody now? That was what we did. So it's no longer pass int and pass float. It's now what? Number. Now, this is actually entering, it's tricking my eye. How am I going to make this cleaner? How exactly are we going to make this cleaner? We need to clean this up. How are we going to make it cleaner? Not, finer or cleaner. You're writing clean codes. Control X. S. Okay. No, we're not going to be using prettier. Prettier will not make it clean for you. First of all, we are repeating something. I feel like we are repeating something too much. You have to find it. You have to find it out. What are we repeating? Number, exactly. That's what we are repeating. Repeated number 4 times. Two things. No, we cannot put number there. Why can't we put number there? Why can we not put number there? I said, you asked me, are we going to put it there? I said no. But why can we not put the number there? Exactly, because of your error. Because if you put number there, it will not longer bring out what that error. Now, what you can do right here is that what? Instead of having number twice right here, you cannot say number, then what? B times rate. This works. Oh, I think I didn't hear you. So similarly, you can have what? Again, number and what? T. So you can say plus T per month. Yes. Because it's just like you're multiplying something. You're saying everything here is a what? Is a number. Now let us try it out. Now I'm going to refresh it. And I'm going to write 111. Calculate. Can you see that it's working? 1110 is adding 0 for me. Okay, let's try one this map, please. You know what? Let's leave it like that. Let's leave it like that. Actually, there are ways in which you can do all of these things and you get the answer. This is how coding is. See how interesting it is. Very interesting. It's very interesting. Why? Everybody is smiling. Isn't that interesting? So that is the thing about programming, though. So you keep doing different things. You know the answer, but you're like a little bit confused. But in cases like this, just want to rest first, sleep, come back. rest for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, come back. Rest for like 5 to 10 minutes, come back. If you rest for too long, what might happen is that when you open your code, it will look as if you did not write the code. So it's fine, Sha. You can rest for as many hours as you like. Just know that when you come back and you don't understand your code again, you have to like start from the beginning and start understanding what you're writing. But that's a joke. That's a joke. So so this is how writing codes can be, right? I'm just trying to like explain to you how writing codes can be. So yeah. Now, on the last thing on the agenda is now to introduce you to asynchronous JavaScript. Just a little bit. Now, if you notice, if I try to like write only, okay, let me refresh. If I try to press calculate, what is it showing? Bill amount cannot be empty. But it is not disappearing. Is it? Until you refresh it. It's not disappearing. Why is it not disappearing? It's not disappearing because you have not set the function for it to disappear. Now that is what asynchronous JavaScript is. Asynchronous JavaScript is basically you telling your code or your function to wait for something to occur before something else occurs. Right? Now we can now tell this particular error to, I don't want to use get lost, but to just like leave the screen. I don't know what to use. You can tell this particular code to just just leave the screen after a particular amount of seconds, or after a particular function has been executed. In this case, we're going to be using seconds. We're going to be saying after 5 seconds, this particular error shouldn't be on our screen. Are you calling it? Are you calling it? You're dialing. I'm joking. Continue. Okay. Press it again and get the error. The user next time will learn how to okay, that was a joke too. But yeah, the user should learn how to have a good what's the name? Attention span. So you cannot be having short attention span. So if you press it, you go. You come back again, you press on the screen, Abby. Okay, you're talking about this particular thing. You can make it like that. So you can say good. You cannot say whenever it comes up, if that's CSS. Guess that's CSS basically. So whenever you have that error, it gets popped up. And then once it pops up, the user can now be the one to click OK or click any part of the screen to remove it. That's CSS. What you are saying is that you want it to come out so the user will see it. You want to just stay. Okay, now let me show you something. 11111 15%. Calculate. Are you still seeing this thing or not? You understand it now? So you are still seeing now. What I'm saying is that stuff works, but we can now set it to make sure that it is now dependent. The error message will now be dependent. The error message staying will now be dependent on whether the user clicks OK or not. Because some particular people where you see an error message and then you can now click OK to close it, right? Or you can press on the close button to close it. Do you get it now? You get it. Now that can now be like another distance. So we can now like give it another functionality. Which okay, whenever you click anywhere on the screen, whenever you click a particular place on the screen, or even if you click on it, it is not going to give you what? It's not going to what? Easily remove. Now, this is another assignment. Thank you very much. I like your questions. You always bring assignment ideas. You always bring assignment ideas. Now, it's not going to be very hard. Sorry, I'm going to show you one. I'm going to bring it back in. It's not going to be very hard. What I'm saying is that whenever you click on bill amount should what? Disappear. That's what. So it's not hard. There is. Whenever you click on bill amount, it should happen. Now, what I'm not going to show you now will now give you an idea of how you can get this done. This should take you less than 5 minutes. 3 minutes. Ask now, don't worry. Continue, don't worry. I understand. Okay. So how do you propose we make such a function work? I understand your function. Yes, you are saying that whenever you now go ahead to calculate something, you should remove, Abby. Good. Now I'm asking you, how exactly do you propose working on such a function? I'm asking you. I want you to think about it. No, I mean, you have a lot of. I like the ideas. You have ideas. So, as you're thinking of that idea, you should also be what solution oriented. Okay, there's a problem. How exactly do I solve this? Now, how exactly will it now work? How are we going to use it? Okay. All right. So one thing you can do is that you can tie your calculate button to, but you're not going to have efficient result. That's some things that they are feasible, but they're not advisable. So you can tie your calculate button. Automatically you have to create a new function for this error message. So creating a new function is going to say, okay, whenever you now have the result of this, right? You don't want the error message to show. That means you have to tie that error message to this calculate button. You can now say whenever you click on that error message again, on this calculate button again, the error message will disappear. That's another function. So whenever you click on that particular calculate button in another function, the error message will disappear. Do you get it now? But now, if you now click on the calculate button again and the user is still making some errors, what is that you going to get? What are you going to get? Nothing. What I'm trying to say is that I'm saying that you can create a function that says whenever a user clicks on this button again, that is a calculate button after the error, what happens? You should remove the error. You understand? But that can lead to another error, a worse error. And what's the error? The worst error is a user making an error and not knowing that they're making an error. I get your question. Your question is that whenever you press on calculate, this bill amount is here, right? Whenever you now press on calculate with the right this thing and you click on calculate, it should remove, right? That's what I'm saying. Now you can now give it a function that says, okay, whenever a user now inputs something, a number, and you press calculate, it should remove it. But I'm saying that you can actually give birth to another error. And what's the error? The error can be that the user probably writes letter. This particular cannot be an empty, cannot be empty. Is that this place should not be empty. It's not about number. Is that this place should not be empty. I want to explain something. This particular error here, you have two errors in your LC. What's the first error? cannot be empty. What's the second error? You have to put number. Good. Now, if you leave it empty, that's when you're going to get this. What if the user now sees bill cannot be empty, and they now put letter, and they go on to press calculate? What will it show you? Good. But if you now wrap this first error with another function that says the errors will disappear whenever you click on calculate again, what's going to happen? No error is going to show. No, some users will make mistakes like that. Yes, some users will make. Some users can write 400,000 naira in words. Yes. Some people actually feel like the computer is a know-all, so they can just write anything and it's going to give you. They don't understand how programs it. You're speaking from a perspective of a developer. You understand? So some people, just like I said, they are very funny. And some people can even still go ahead and put $sign here and write $400. Now, calculate. Is this a number? Do you understand it now? This is already a string. Why? This $sign is not a number, it's a what? Do you get it now? Some people are just like, they don't know what they will just, some people don't read, they don't, of course, a lot of us are here. How many of you read terms and conditions? Before you press on, how many of you to read it? Yes, you should read it. You should read it. Yes. A lot of people read it. Yes. You should always read terms and conditions, because for some reasons, terms and not reading terms and conditions can land you in jail. I understand. In fact, everybody, I'm not going to say I have not skipped terms and of course, plenty. But there are some terms and conditions that you should be very, very, very careful of that. I need to read it. Now, it's just this one. They tell you, okay, let's say in the placeholder now. Check the placeholder here. What did I put in this placeholder? I put $sign. Some people will still go ahead and put $sign for me again. You understand? So, you have to assume, I'm telling you as a developer, you have to assume that some people will not read it. Okay. Don't sleep. Okay. That is what I'm saying. I wanted to create. That means she did not even hear when I said I wanted to create that function. Okay. So now, how exactly are we going to do this? I'm not going to create the function and then I'm done. Whenever we have an error, it should be able to disappear after many seconds, 5 seconds. I'm going to be using what we know as what the set time now. So let me see if I'm still recording. Then after that, I'm going to call it a day. Yeah, I'm still recording. So we'll just use set timer. Which one are you talking about? Set timer. Yes. So how exactly can we use set timer? I need everybody's attention for this. Set timer is very, very easy. It's one of the easiest functions to understand. It can be one of the easiest functions to understand, and it can also be one of the easiest functions to not understand. Set timeout is basically saying that you want to give a particular function or create a particular functionality that lasts for a particular amount of seconds. You understand? So after a particular amount, that occurs after a particular amount of seconds. Now you now have set interval. Set interval is a particular function that lasts for a particular amount of seconds. I'm going to say it again. Set timeout is saying that after this amount of seconds, this function is going to execute. Set time interval is saying that what this particular function is going to execute in this amount of time. Do you see the difference? Set timeout after a particular amount of time, this is going to work. So after 5 seconds, I'm going to go out. Set interval is saying that what I'm going to walk out of here in 5 seconds. Again, after 5 seconds, you count 1 to 5. I'm out. Set interval, it takes me 5 seconds to walk out of this place. That's set interval. Then set timeout is off. That's the difference. Now we're going to be using set timeout here. And how exactly do you use your set timeout? So you use your set timeout. So you have set time out. Can I see it now? And then I'm going to create a function, the normal arrow function. See why I wanted you to understand what arrow functions are. Now, this is how set timeout works. Do you get it now? Now, I'm going to create it again so that you understand it. So set timeout, you write your work. You write your set timeout, set time out, right? And then you have this, and then your arrow function. Do you get it now? This is what you have. Parentheses, set timeout. Then you're not going to have your what? Arrow functions inside of it. And how do you create your arrow function? The same way you created this right here. This is a nameless function, right? I'm coming. You ask. This is an arrow function, right? Do you know how to write your arrow function? Is it clear? Good. That is what set timeout is. You have a question? Yes, this one here, this one, and your curly braces are the function. That's your arrow function. I told you that to create your functions, you have function, then name. Right? To create your arrow function is similar. You have what? Const name equals to what? And this. This is your arrow function. Do you get it now? These are your arrow functions. Similarly, you have what this here, also your arrow function. See? Now this has a name, right? If your function has a name, you have to use a const name. You can use let, but function should not change. They are strict. It should be what? Const. This set timeout now, you do not need it because it is not. You don't need it because you don't. Are you naming this function? No. So you can just leave it out like that. So now, I can now say set timeout should not have what? This error message right here should not be what? It should disappear after many seconds, 5 seconds. So I can easily come here and say error message right here, dot style, right? Dot what? Dot style, dot display. Dot style, dot display. You set it to be what? None. If you want to set something to what? A display of none in CSS, how do you do it? Display of none, right? Now, in JavaScript, style is also a what? A property. Don't forget, properties are very important. Style is also a property. If you want to style an HTML element, that's a property of the HTML. So you're not going to want to style this particular HTML property. And what is the style? You want to give it a display of what? None. Properties. That's why I said you should read on properties, understand properties in details. Very important. Very important. You have the weekend now, you can do that. You can say you want to play a lot of things. That's why time management is a very important thing for developers. You can, as a developer, it is easy for you not to even accomplish anything in a day. Very easy. Because you have too much to do. And then you be like, okay, let me just rest more. I'll do something. Day is over. You understand? So please go ahead and check these things out. So error message was for the style.display, right? So .style and what's the display to what? None. Now we've set the error message, set it up. Now instead of I can now take it up and I can put it in a function. And why am I putting it in a function? I'll tell you why I'm putting it in a function now. Let me just leave it for now. But right now, what I want to make sure that it runs for how many seconds? 5 seconds. This is what I'm going to put. I'm going to put 5,000 milliseconds. So in JavaScript, your seconds run in what? In milliseconds. So 1,000 seconds, 1,000 milliseconds make what? 1 second. 2,000, 2 seconds, 3,000, so it's 5,000, that's 5 seconds. Do you get it now? So this is how your syntax is. But is it going to work this way? Is it going to work? For a function to work, how many things do you actually need to do? Call it out, right? Now, if you're not going to be calling it out, that means it has to be tied to a what? To a function, right? Or it has to be tied to an event. But is it tied to an event? Is it tied to an event? Look at it to Mr. Celestine. No. Is it tied to a function? No, right? It is a nameless function. It's not tied to a function, which means we have to call it out in a particular function. Do you understand it now? I can, instead of writing it out here, I can easily just come here and put it out in my function. I can control X it. Hey, Z. Five 5,000 milliseconds, right? I can cut it out from here and I can paste it right under this place. You understand? Now it's in a function, isn't it? It's in an if statement. So if this particular something, this thing is true, print this out. Now after 5 seconds, this has to disappear. Now let us try it out. Let us see. Yes. It's the else if is inside the function now. The if statement is in the function, isn't it? Why do you want to put it? You need to know, just a moment, you need to know where the error is. Where is the error? Tell me the condition those errors are tied to. And what if it is not a number, right? That means wherever you have these errors, this thing is going to show. And if this thing shows, you don't want to have it again. That means you have to place this particular set timeout in those blocks. No, I'm gonna come back to that. Yes, of course. Okay. It should. Now, I don't want to like take step by step. Now let us calculate. Being amount cannot be empty. Wait for 5 seconds and see what happens. It's no longer there. Do you understand it now? Now let us, like she said, let us put it in the else if to see if it works. So in the else if, we're going to put it here, out for error. Then if you check it out, you should have what? Something similar. Let us press a letter, calculate. Please enter a valid number for bill amount. And then after 5 seconds, disappears. Do you get it now? Clear to everybody. Clear, Mr. Celestine. You're not in this class again. Is it clear to you? It's not clear. It's not clear. You're not in this class again. So I'm gonna move on. So this is what now this writing function like this is cumbersome. I don't want to speak English. It is stressful to me. Now instead of that, instead of write now you write the function here, you write it here, you keep writing it. Now one thing we can do is that I will explain that. One thing you can do is that you can set your function right here, right? And call it in this place. Do you understand it now? You can set your function outside of here and call it right here. So how exactly am I going to do that? I can call this a what? I can wrap this in a function. I can say function and what? Close error. Right? And then I'm going to have it here. Set timeout. That means this particular close error now has this set timeout function, isn't it? And I can call this function inside of those places. I can come here and I can say, I put it here, close error. And I can also come here and I can say, close error. You understand? I've set my function here and I've given it the name of what? Close error. Now I can call out my function in this particular two places. Then I will come here, and then if I try and calculate now, bin amount cannot be empty. Wait for 5 seconds and see what happens. And then it automatically works. Do you understand it now? Now, this is basically what hoisting means. Sorry, this is basically what hoisting means. Now, in our next class, this is everything for today's class. In our next class, we'll talk about hoisting. I explain what hoisting is. Then I will explain how hoisting is linked to what? To your global and local variables. And then we'll move to what? Loops. Then hopefully in our next class, we can also talk about promises. That'll be on Monday. So again, you can go ahead and read on hoisting, read on loops, read on promises. Promises also has asynchronous yes in it. So you can read on those three things before our next class on Monday. So that will be the end of today's class. Any question? This is just everything you need, actually. No, take a picture of this. Once you are done, let me know. Are you done? If you are done with this, I'll just scroll down again. So take a picture of this also. So that will be all for today's class. Any question? Everybody is now looking at me like, Jesus Christ, what is this? Trust me, this is easy. This is the easiest part. Come.